but, you know, it's kind of like this good thing that Pastor England is trying to do. But us being involved would kind of be an additional element of confusion, maybe.
Right. What was the
He
confusion?
didn't need, so we kind of bowed out to kind of make things more
What
doable for him.
What specific doctrine would you say the confusion was in regard to?
Yeah, it didn't have nothing to do with the doctrine. It was, remember that the church that we came from, Puritan Church?
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
We talked about that
Well,
pastor a
that
lot.
church is trying to become part of the RPCNA,
Okay.
the domination that Pastor England is part of.
Ooh,
And,
yeah, I
it's
could...
a good thing.
Once you put poison
They
in water...
need to become,
I was going to say, once you put a little bit of poison into water, it doesn't... You know, there's not part of the water that isn't affected by it.
yeah, but the way we look at it, if that actually does happen, it will be a good thing, because then they will no longer be under the absolute tyranny of that pastor.
That's
there.
true. That is true. Sorry, I think I misunderstood, because I think Mark, knowing Mark personally, because I lived with him, you know, I've known Mark longer than I've known Gil. He'll soften him up big time. And
I think so.
obviously, the
I
people
think
that are wanting to transfer have had some concerns with where they're at.
Yeah, I think so. So we just kind of backed out so that process could move forward without us being an issue, because we are an issue, because half of our church came from there out of protest. You know, we left out of protest of the way people are treated and stuff. So we didn't. It was somewhat of an awkward situation to be in the middle of, so we just kind of backed out of it. But that's why.
Well, I think that was like when you realize that somebody's more capable of helping certain people, it's actually good to back away for a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because I think they would be more, you know, it's humility. I think that's Christ's humility to recognize, okay, this is a good thing that's happening here, but we don't want to interfere because we've had some past challenges and situations with some of these people, so we'll just give them some room to breathe and take it in. So I was concerned when when we were cleaning. Of course, I was so not very good at the job because I was so manically depressed at the time. You were explaining to me that situation with that pastor, and it's pure narcissism, really. When someone has so much power and control, and again, I'm not shooting down Pastor Gill's church at all, because he's very biblical. But I think there is among Christianity, and I'm not going to judge his soul. I mean, I would if I could, because quite frankly, I don't think he's saved. That's just my opinion. He's a cult leader. There are
somewhat cultic. I would have to agree.
You look at
The
President.
church itself stands to gain a lot to be brought out of that isolation and complete dominance of that pastor. And that's what will happen if this process is successful. You know, and they're brought into RPCNA. There's no, you know, there's no room for that kind of behavior in that RPCNA. So, you know, it won't be tolerated, and, you know, he'll either have to change, grow up, you know, or, you know, he won't be able to behave that way.
Sometimes I wish we could go back to the old Catholic days when they excommunicated people. not.
That's what he's doing. He's excommunicating anybody who disagrees.
No. I mean excommunicate him. See,
yeah.
It's like a dictator.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really mean to focus on all that, man. What's happening in your life?
Oh, wow. I mean, the Lord's been good to me. I'll tell you that, because considering the situation with Bethany years ago and the 3 kids, I mean, it was just terrible hell for them for 7 years to put up with the abuse and just the belligerent behavior from a guy like me. And so I'm not really surprised that Bethany turned on me and said that I was lost and monster and all this kind of stuff. But God gave me a second chance with Josepha. I mean, I know her past. You know, I know everything. It's just, I looked at her and I said, do you understand my past? You know? So the fact that she came up...
Good thing about the past is it's all forgiven.
Right, and I told her everything. I just laid it all out in front of her, and I think that was the reason why we clicked so well. And sure, there's been some miscommunication because English is not her first language. So there might have been some confusion as far as religious doctrine and things like that. But I think she's opening up. She's starting to understand the doctrines of grace from a Presbyterian perspective, because I had never left that. When Pastor Gill's the one who really brought me around to that understanding. Because before that I was Baptist, if you recall. So I've been praying with her thoughtfully because I know she's just begging to see Royce. I said to her, I miss the weather down there. And she's like, well, will the church accept us again? I said, well, again, there's been some misunderstandings, maybe some miscommunications and things like that. But I have no doubt that if we found a way to move down there after I'm done with my probation and stuff, you know, from the 3-year restraining order, the concern is just finding the right kind of job down there because, quite frankly, she's making $12 an hour right now, which is a lot better than Sharp Memorial Hospital $8.15, which, by the way, they got sued for that. So, good hospital though.
Wow, I didn't know they paid that little.
Yeah, the government went after them for that. But it's been a blessing. She started out at $9.50 at this organic chicken market where I used to work. And she is one of their best workers now. And she's just loving it.
Wow, awesome.
But like I said, my concern is for her safety and for safety of the baby. She's got the baby with her, but she's being supervised by social services and things like that to make sure that she's not going to harm herself or the baby. And the reason I'm out of the picture is because it's very challenging. You know, when you're starting this whole thing all over again and you've got all these concerns about the past, you know, considering my criminal history, I want to make it right this time. And it's new. So sometimes, like you said, you just have to back up and let God work in that situation for a little while. If that makes sense.
Definitely know how to pray more intelligently for you, brother.
Yeah. Let the church know that, yes, I had to call the cops on her because she was driving without a Minnesota driver's license. She hadn't had that thing switched over since 2013 when she moved up here. You got to be kidding me. So then the cops are like, well, considering your criminal background and her being upset at you for calling the cops, we're gonna have to split you two up for a little bit. I said, well, that's perfectly fine. So I got her into a service plan with CPS to make sure that her and the baby are safe.
Okay, cool.
That's what's going on. And I think it's a blessing, really, because what did Paul say? God has put them in authority over you for your good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because we haven't broken any laws, but if we had, we better be afraid because they don't bear the sword for nothing.
It seems like it's a pretty, necessary step at this point in time.
It is.
Yeah.
So keep me in your thoughts because I don't have any money. I don't have a vehicle. I don't have a job. Well, I mean, I work MLMs, but those things take forever. So I gave her the vehicle. We co-own.
Build a business like that.
Did you get a chance to see that brand new Dodge Avenger that we picked up?
What's that?
Did you get a chance to see a picture of that white brand new 2014 Dodge Avenger that her and I bought?
No.
It's phenomenal.
Avenger, though.
It's a beautiful vehicle, yeah. So I'm just letting her have it to get to work and to and from, but we both own it. So keep us in your thoughts and prayers. I mean, our ultimate goal, I think, is to come back down to San Diego at some point because I want her to be in contact with her son. What happened there with her and Ryan, I don't know, but it wasn't Josepha's fault. The babysitter was at a casino and left Royce in the car. Josepha was at work, but CPS took the kid away from Josepha like it was Josepha's fault. I was almost devastated about that when I found out about that.
So the babysitter took the child to the
casino
and left her in the
left Royce in the car in that heat.
Wow.
And they blamed Josepha. CPS did.
Wow. I didn't know anything about any of this.
And Ryan is God bless his heart, but he's a manipulative kind of person, and he knows how to lie and make it look like it's Josepha's fault. So I'm a little frustrated because I know she wanted to bring Royce up here, but I said, I don't think that's a good idea at this point. He needs to stay down there. And I wanted to know why she wasn't going to your church anymore. Quite frankly, I was a little concerned about that. So when she lost Royce and she finally came up here and told me the whole story, I was like, well, I'm sorry to hear that because she loves him. She loves him very much. So I think that's what's going on right now. She misses her son, and she doesn't feel like she has a big enough support from a church up here like she did down there.
Gotcha.
She misses the Belois.
Gil and Mark's heart were very supportive of her.
Well, she's just afraid. She's just afraid because Mari Carr told her that if you leave to go see Jonathan, I'm never going to talk to you again. Well, that's not showing the love of Christ. We want to see them again.
Well, maybe she should give it a shot. When the dust clears down there where you guys are,
yeah,
you guys are back together and things are running smoothly, so she doesn't have all this burden on her mind,
Right.
She got her hormones under control and everything.
Right, and our hormones are way out of whack right now. Completely.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. We shouldn't be staying up days on end, not getting any sleep.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's real tough.
Anyway, I wanted to apologize for any unnecessary confusion about certain things in the past, but I'm there. I'm balanced out now.
Yeah, I kind of figured that, the bipolar might have a role to play in all that, so I didn't want to, put too much stock in it because you're struggling with that disease, and if you weren't taking your medication or whatever, because I don't know, I don't know about all this stuff.
Oh, I'm taking my medication. Yeah, absolutely. That's the only thing that works for me.
Okay, cool.
Talking
to you, man.
Yeah. Before I
have to run.
Yep, absolutely.
But yeah, I would definitely say when she starts to feel like her old self again, maybe she should reach out to Mari Carr and just see what'll happen there.
Where there's a will, there's a way. Because I did promise you guys that I'd be back down there.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man.
So
that'd be real cool.
It was before you go. I think it was William Shakespeare. He said, "All life is a stage." What do you think he meant by that? He meant that everything is acting. This is not even a real world, so to speak. There's some people that say this is like a big game that God has created. It's like God sitting there playing through the controller. It's kind of a funny way to look at life. Because Christ taught us we don't have to fear death.
Right.
Because of what's on the other side. All right, Rodney, many blessings to you, and say hi to the family for me.
Will do, brother.
God bless you.